We're talking business, how to get your money right for the hour.
A typical night at the clubs.
Let's get raw.
You don't want to fall in love.
Let's get raw.
You got the fusion in your blood.
Let's get raw.
And to my ladies and my thugs.
Let's get raw. And to the haters on the scene.
Let's get raw.
Don't be mad cause we got green.
Let's get raw.
Should be trying to make the team.
Let's get raw.
Cause we taking everything.
Let's get raw.
Raw Fusion.
Yo, shout out to Bobby Drake, Spike and Jamal. They are the ones who produced this intro that's playing now. They also did the music for Monica's So Gone, which was a huge record. So I'm in great company. It was actually made for my TV show way back when I was on PBS. We recorded it. It's a whole song, really. We just play a portion of it on the show. So when I came back to Raw Fusion and started going through all the other stuff that we had before, I'm like, I really want to play this as the intro now. It's still a dope record. And if you listen closely, I say, cut on your TV. I guess now you can listen to a podcast on your TV, so it still works. So shout out to them. Anyway, today we are talking about business, how to get your business right. And we have 4 business owners who came together to form the Quad Coaches, and they're teaching business owners how to increase their business or get started in business. And they are here today. How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Great.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Okay, so we have April Prayer, Andrea Thompson, Tiffany Taylor, and Mel Robeson. Now, the crazy part about it is I've known April, and she was on our first show since first grade. So like we were little kids. Mel, I've known him through the business of filmmaking. He's actually a talented actor, but don't tell him I said that. Now, Andrea and Tiffany, they were new people to me. And when I went into their group, which is How to Fire Your Boss After Party, they actually gave some free information that was actually very, very good. And I was going to support April and Mel anyway, but I was pleasantly surprised at how well and informative Andrea and Tiffany were.
Thank you.
Let's break it down. Mel is about mindset, which is questionable. No, he's a friend of mine. I can joke with him like that. Andrea, she is all about the promo, how to advertise and how to market your business. Tiffany is the money lady, so you know I want to get next to her. April, my good friend, she puts together how to make your team work. 'Cause teamwork makes the dream work. But she doesn't call it team. She calls it squad. Now, why is that, April?
Squad, because teams drain you of time, energy, aggravation, and micromanagement. So we got to create something different in that space. You got to start thinking about a team as your mastermind, the people who are going to work with you, who have your vision in mind at all times. And so we replace the word team with squad.
Because teams work your damn nerves. Okay, I get it. And I can agree sometimes. So what's the acronym for squad?
Squad. You
Are you going to give it away? Are you going to give it away? I don't know.
Okay, my bad. Okay. You gotta pay for this, okay? Which is great information, but you gotta pay.
I will say this: first, you find your star.
You find your
star to help you build your squad, and your star is somebody who is a self-starter, someone who is a recruiter, someone who is all in, someone who has your vision in mind at all times, and then they make it easier to find another safe space for you to find other people to be around you to help you build your vision. So I will give that little tidbit away.
So the S is for star and safe. There you go. A star that makes you safe. I love it.
Self-starter.
All right, Andrea.
Yes, I'm here. That's me.
You are teaching people how to market their business.
Yep.
What simply, and again, you got to pay for the good stuff. But what can you tell us? What can you give away about marketing your business, no matter what business it is? Something that's kind of universal.
Well, according to my coaches, I can't give anything away. Okay. I'm being coached too. No, I'm just, so what I can tell you is this, accounting, marketing, and innovation is what will sustain your business ultimately, the numbers and the words and your ability to create. And so while Tiffany's expertise is numbers, my expertise is words. And I always say, good words matter. In fact, great words matter. And so how you uniquely stand out in the marketplace, how you express your brand, it really speaks to not only the quality and credibility of your brand, but the impact and the reach of your brand as well. So you need to kind of be paying attention to how you verbally represent yourself across digital platforms. I think sometimes people post for the sake of posting, but I always like to remind people to be very intentional and be purposeful in their posting rather than posting just to see if it works.
What I love about what you were talking about, and again, this you gave away for free in the group. So, matter of fact, if you're on Facebook right now and you're a business owner and you want to get coached in your business, hey, look, Michael Jordan had a coach, so we all can use some coaching, even if you're the greatest of all time. But what you did give away was that you should get on at a certain time to promote your business. And it's important. And that was something that I knew before going into the group. I was doing a project with John Blue. We had this long conversation about when we should actually release the, it's like a mini movie. It's not really a video, but what time? And I'm like, what time? And that's really why I started to look at people pick up their phones at different times of the day. And of course, when you wake up, first thing most of us do is check our emails and then probably social media and stuff like that. So that's important. And you give a hell of a lot more tips in the actual course that you have to pay for, which is great. I think that there are a lot of coaching things out there in which you have to pay for. If you go to school, you got to pay for it. You know what I mean? If you're going to Columbia or wherever, one of the things about working with me, because I'm a filmmaker, I've had people come and work with me. And many of them will tell you that they spent $20,000, $30,000 for Columbia and they learn more with me. So when you have someone that is taking their time and investing in you, personally, you oftentimes learn more than if you pay thousands of dollars at a college. So that's why I want to have you guys on. Tiffany, you are the money lady.
I'm the money lady.
That's right. So, yeah, I'm going to keep you happy.
I like being happy.
So you have, and am I right in seeing that you posted that you helped businesses get over $2 million? What was this, since COVID or this year or something like that? Tell me about that.
That's correct, since COVID. And that's actually how April and I kind of transformed this into the Quad Coaches, because what we found was there were so many people who, spend so much time doing what they enjoy, running their business, whatever that business is, that they don't take the time to build the foundation. And therefore, there were too many business owners who did not qualify for the simple grants that were available at their fingertips, or even people just didn't think that they qualified just because they, I didn't file taxes, or I didn't keep my books, or I did not keep my LLC structure in place intact. I don't know how many businesses don't have business credit, don't know what a DUNS number is, don't know how to have the proper liability insurance. There's so many things that they are limiting themselves to and hindering themselves by not keeping the proper money habits, quote unquote.
And you will help them personally with that, right?
Absolutely. That's where I come in at. Absolutely.
So there could be like a bunch of money out there that I ain't even got hold to yet, huh?
There could be. Absolutely. And not even just the money that you can get a hold to, but just money that you're leaving on the table from just not having your stuff in order.
Ah, okay. You got to get your stuff in order.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And, well, I'm going to say it like, we said, get your shit right. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Mel, part of getting to the point where you can get to all of these other things is getting your mind right, right?
Mm-hmm. Like Master P
Because
said.
if you don't have the right, hey, he made a lot of money too. I'm not even going to say what I really want to say. But come on, okay, I am going to say it. This is my show. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
He actually, I never did like his music.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a few songs. In that movie, I got the hookup.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Seriously. But the reason why I'm saying it that way is because he made so much money off of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not all the time the product that you're putting out. It's the business, it's the mindset, it's what you're going after. There is someone somewhere, no matter what business you're in, someone somewhere will pay for. You just got to find them,
right?
You know what I mean? And you got to have your mind right. So tell me about what you do with the Quiet Coaches.
Well, I've been a personal development and professional development speaker for 17 years now. So I know you guys can't see on the podcast per se, but behind me now is just part of my library. I have 6 bookshelves in my office that are filled with books. I've probably read 85% of the books that are in my library. There's still some that I haven't gotten to yet that my mentors have recommended that I haven't gotten to. But one of the things that I came to understand some years ago is what you think about, you bring about. And that is the premise off of all of my teaching, rather. Because everything is preceded in thought. Anything that you see that is not the divine manifestation of something that God created himself came about because of somebody's thought process. You know, we think a thing and then the physical manifestation of that thing can become reality. So that being considered, how you think about your business and the exercises that you do on a regular basis through spaced repetition to program yourself for success are extremely important. My firm belief is that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what hardware we give you if the software isn't correct. You know, we can give you the finest machinery, but if the software to run the machinery isn't there or is corrupted, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like that's like putting an inexperienced driver in an Indianapolis 500 car and expecting him to compete with the other racers. Doesn't have the training. Right. So the mental training, the mental aspect of what we do as business owners is just as important, if not more important than the daily operations of our businesses.
So just to put it in the same context, you know, you can have a $50,000 computer and it's not going to work unless you get your, the programs that you need in order to run or do the task that you want to do. You just have a very expensive computer and you're not doing shit with it. So it's important to get your mind right. Now we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to find out how all of this got started and maybe I can con a few more tips out of them. It's King B's Raw Fusion. Previously on Raw Fusion.
If you're having lots of sex, who has time to argue?
See, there it goes. It's coming out.
It is. I mean, if you're having good sex often, what are we arguing about?
Uh-huh.
What are we going to argue about?
Maybe to argue to make up sex?
If that's what floats your boat, you know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. Make it work.
Don't miss a minute of King B's Raw Fusion. Make sure you subscribe for free to King B's Raw Fusion podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. If you love Raw Fusion and you want more, go to theindycity.com, click the King B's Raw Fusion link, and subscribe for the exclusive content. For just $5 a month, you can get your VIP pass for exclusive content, the secrets and such, right there at theindycity.com. Raw Fusion. Now, how in the world did you guys come together to put this together?
April Bullet.
April. April's a chumper starter. You know what I'm saying?
April volunteered us. We call it volunforced. She volunforced us to come together and put these classes together. And she has been cracking the whip ever since. I am thankful for our friendship and our relationship and her tenacity and her keeping us online, because, you know, one of the things that we understand is anytime you present yourself with a possibility, anything that is not that possibility is going to pop up to keep you from it. And so we've all had challenges and losses and, you know, all types of things that we've been dealing with during the course of us putting this together. I mean, if you heard the story behind the story, it would be crazy. However, April, in spite of everything that she's been through personally, has been definitely the glue that has kept us all together on the days when we didn't feel like it, on the days when it wasn't working, on the days when we had technical issues, on the days when people were like, y'all crazy, how y'all gonna teach this thing, or why should I pay y'all to do it, and all this other stuff. You know, she was the one that said, all right, keep going. And like, whatever, keep going. And, you know, I'm happy to say that we did keep going, and our inaugural students have achieved tremendous success. And none of that would have happened if April had not cracked the whip on all of us.
April is that person.
In addition to that, the four of us each own and operate our individual businesses and have, you know, not only individual businesses, but multiple businesses between the four of us. And for April to still be able to pull that out of us so that we can pour into our students, it takes a lot. So, you know, we do, although we all work together, April's definitely the glue between us.
Thank you.
I was
just going to say,
counselor, hold on, counselor. Let me just jump in there very quickly. So I really am appreciative of the synergy that we have. I think that COVID and lockdown and subsequent looting and the emotional toll of being owners, not just profit and bottom line wise, but it impacted us in terms of the relationships professionally that we've been able to cultivate and manage. We were not able to really be fully participating in those relationships. And so I think that, you know, in the midst of having to forcefully pivot and change everything, because everything is changing in the midst of a shift, it's really important to be surrounded by positive people. So I'm not the most sensitive person, but I think that this group has pulled out a lot of my feelings about the necessity of really being in alignment with people who can help you to make shifts, whether that's a shift in your finances, a shift in your mindset, a shift in your approach to team building, or in my case, for me, a shift in your marketing. But what we brought together was what people needed. And I think that each of us learned from each other as we serve the people. So that's what makes it super inspirational and impactful. And plus, April's like kind of mean and bossy. I don't know if she's like that as a kid.
No, she's
I don't know if she's like that as a kid, but yeah.
That's right.
She's definitely assertive. I don't know about mean, but she's definitely assertive.
I'm mean.
She's not mean,
I'm mean,
but she will tell you about yourself. She will tell you about yourself in a minute. I know that for a fact.
She's not
So
mean,
I'll just add this, like what we're doing exemplifies the modules that I teach. So the whole notion that none of us knows everything, but together we can cover a whole lot more ground, needed to be an action that we showed our students. Because it's one thing to tell people, hey, you need to get a team, you need to get staff, you need to get support. Most businesses in the U.S. fail because the number one reason that businesses fail in the U.S. is quality of labor. And so that means either there is a solopreneur that's holding up the walls and trying to be the PR person and trying to be accounts payable and trying to be accounting and trying to be the creative and trying to do everything, or it means you have a lot of turnover in your team, or it means that you have an unreliable team. So for us to show people in our actions, instead of having to simply tell them, hey, you need to get a group together, for them to see four professionals with lots of experience in a lot of different industries all make the time to do this while they're building their own businesses in the midst of complete world chaos, pandemic, and pandemonium says a whole lot. And it encouraged our students in our first class to do the same. And that was the most surprising result we got from our Business Not As Usual inaugural class, is that the students there who came together, didn't know each other, met in this Facebook group, left doing joint ventures. I mean, like major projects where they were able to come together from different industries, come together and say, hey, I think we can broaden our reach if we partner up. And that was because they saw 4 people in front of them, 4 mentors, partner up, come together, share whatever their strengths were, show up prepared every time, and deliver. And so I think that's a powerful testament to what we're doing. And initially we just did it like Tiffany said. There were too many business owners that were coming forward who wanted the PPP loans, who wanted the grants from the county or the city or the state or whomever, corporate grants, and they just didn't have their ducks in a row. And so she said, well, what if we make this a class or a membership or something so that these people don't miss out the next time something is available to them, the next time funding is available, and they can be the ones in line to get it instead of watching their doors close and their dreams go away because they simply were not prepared.
I like that. It's very much so needed because a lot of people, especially when you're first starting a business, you are kind of clueless, you know what I mean, about the marketplace, about how to get your name out there, about, you know, different resources that you can get. You know, it can be a daunting task for someone just starting out. The converse is you can be in business for 10 years, and if you have never been exposed to some of these things, it can be beneficial to you as well, because we do what we do, but there are so many other things that go along with business that we may not even know about or know to ask questions about. And that in and of itself, just knowing what questions to ask is very important, you know, and a lot of business owners don't even know what they should be doing, what questions they should be asking to increase your business. It's great if you had a business and you're making some money, that's great. But taking it to the next level, and there's always a next level. So it can be beneficial to learn from people who are actually in business themselves how to do business.
Absolutely.
And my biggest thing is when I enter any kind of space and I have access to people, I want to get around them. I want to ask them and get different information, you know. One of the things about that people don't know, when I first started my TV show, I was just crazy, you know, I still am. I just got out there and I just did stuff. Yeah, I know. Sorry. I just did stuff. So I went to cable access, started my TV show. Yeah. And so I just started calling people. I called the program director, didn't know him from a can of paint, called the program director of a WGN. And just, you know, hey man, you know, I got a TV show. And I don't know why, took like 15, 20 minutes to talk to me. And from that conversation, just learning even some of the lingo that I didn't know, I used. So when I went to PBS, I was able to use the same lingo. And I guess I conned them into thinking I knew what I was doing. And I actually got the opportunity to be on their network. So just getting around people who are in the business or in the space that you want to be in can be hugely important. And then you guys are actually taking each of your students and giving your time to them, which is important because I protect my time like it's gold, because it is. I mean, I was listening to someone else's podcast and they were talking about, well, look at how much money you're worth. How much are you going to make in an hour or whatever? And if you're making more than it would be to pay someone for something, then pay them.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're going to take 15, 20 minutes to cut your grass and it's going to cost you $20, but you're going to make $60 in this hour, pay the person to cut your grass, even though you can do it, pay them to cut your grass and make the $60. You still make a $40 profit. So, you know, But those are things, again, I listen to a lot of podcasts too and different things. Those are the things, and I'm like, that makes a lot of sense.
I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what you said, because as I was listening to you, a very, very clear example came to mind. The reason why I think the Quad Coaches works very effectively together in concert as an all-inclusive experience is because a lot of times people come to me for marketing, and through the duration of working with them, they ask me about things relative to team development. And so they're like, okay, can you come in and do a group coaching with my team? And when I do that, I notice some things about the team that they may have people placed in certain roles that are not where they serve best. And because I don't specialize in team building, I don't necessarily speak to that issue that I see, but rather I try to coach in my area of marketing. But I see that they have an issue with being a solopreneur and not being able to delegate to their team accordingly. Or in some cases, I'll say, okay, are you the person that's representing the brand, or are you having a person that's the spokesperson of the brand? Who are we putting on radio or TV? And because they have some mindset limitations, in terms of their confidence level, they're not really prepared to seize the opportunities. And so the marketing is impacted by the mindset issues that they may have. And oftentimes there's a finance issue. There's a money issue where they're asking me, should I become an LLC or should I become designated in another capacity? And I'm like, that's not my area. I'm here to help you with marketing. And so to have us all come together to address 4 critical components of business and professional development is just a really, really inclusive experience. And I definitely agree with you on the statement you just made about delegating to people. I have a client who's a professional house cleaner, a commercial and home cleaner. And yesterday was House Cleaners Day. These little holidays that they have, I'm always in sync with them. But she is my delegation because I noticed that it was taking me so much time to, clean up. And so I was like, okay, this is something I need to delegate to someone to make sure that it's managed and I'm freeing my time. And so I think that's a lesson for all us entrepreneurs to really delegate and reclaim our time, so to speak.
Yeah, and people, would think you're trying to be bougie or anything like that. But the truth of the matter is you're on a mission. And if you attack business like I do, you're just on a mission. And anything that you can do but life goes on. So anything or anyone you can bring in to help you focus on your mission is great. And again, getting coaching is great because there's a lot of things that you don't know because you are focused on being what you are. When I was doing film, I didn't do anything else. When I was doing TV, I didn't do anything else. Photography, same thing. I did that at that moment. And you want to be able to focus on what you are doing instead of having to do a whole bunch of other things and your focus is taken away. And so it's not being bougie. You get somebody to clean up your house or cut your grass or whatever, cook, whatever it is. It's just you basically focusing on what your mission is. And when you can do that, you're miles ahead of the game. April, who are you?
Who am I? I am a Black woman from the South Side of Chicago. I am a daughter. I am a criminal defense attorney of almost 21 years. I am an advocate for the underdog. And I'm very proud of that. But I'm also a know your rights educator. So I got fed up after practicing 18 years and realized I needed to reach more people so that they wouldn't end up as my clients. Because people are not taught in school, they're not taught at home, they're not taught in church, they're not taught in any other setting how to respond when they are stopped by a police officer, still assert their rights, but also make it home safely. And so I took that upon myself. I started doing videos online. I have almost 200 videos now, and then I still realized I was not reaching a great deal of people. So then I put all of that information into a board game. So I'm also a board game developer, creator, and designer. So I wear a lot of different hats. I have 6 books. The last book I wrote with 2 of these lovely people on your podcast, called Code for Non-Marketers. So we left Andrea out of that one and told our students some tips on how we market on a daily basis on social media. I also am the founder of 2 nonprofits for girls. I started one back when I was at Duke University as an undergrad, and it is still in existence some 25 years later. So I'm super proud of that fact, and it's actually the premier community service organization on campus that little old me started when I was like 19 or 20 years old. So I wear a lot of different hats. I'd like to keep my hands in different things because I have various passions, and I just am determined to not let any of my passions die. I know so many lawyers who are burnt out with being an attorney, but they really don't know what else to do. And then on the flip side, I know attorneys who stay lit up because they are really in love with dance, or they're really beautiful writers, and they've never smothered their other passions just to be a lawyer. And so I just wanted to be one who was diverse and energetic and engaged at all times in chasing everything that God puts on my heart. So that's who I am.
Love it. Love it. And we talked extensively about the board game. Congratulations on being on ABC, talking about your board game and different things. And then we talked about your paintings and all that stuff. So you can find out more about who April is in our first show if you haven't checked it out already. Tiffany, who are you?
I too am a Black woman, but I'm from the west side of Chicago. But now currently, I hear that.
I should have known. We all Southsiders over here.
I know. I get that a lot. However, I've spent all of my adult life on the south side of Chicago. So I currently live on the south side. I too am an entrepreneur for about 24 years. I have a scale of different skills and many hats, just as April. I started my first business just out of high school when I was 18 years old, and that was my first tax company. And I've been doing personal and business taxes since then. I still own my tax preparation business, Ameridream Tax Pros. I currently do that. I currently own a boutique real estate firm, Top Taylor Realty Group. I've been doing real estate for about 16 years as well. I've started several businesses throughout my career, including, founded a wine brand company. I founded at one point a virtual assistance business. And I do that because, again, I'm the money girl. So whatever means of, I do believe in multiple streams of income. And I don't like putting all of my eggs in one basket. So, and this, I think COVID really proven the fact that what I'm doing is right, because when one thing dried up, I had income coming in other places. And sometimes the places that dried up, the income almost tripled in some of my other businesses. I'm also an investor of many sorts. I invest in real estate, oil, foreign currency, life insurance, cannabis, stocks, and if I don't invest in it, I probably will at some point, because if it's all passive income, I will definitely take a look at it. So I have a passion for educating not only minorities, but particularly African Americans about the things that we tend to be intimidated by, such as taxes and investing and real estate, and leaving a legacy for those things that we take for granted and for many of our ancestors have died for. You know, there were times when we were not allowed to own land or allowed to own real estate. We couldn't get mortgages. If you lived in a certain neighborhood, you were redlined. You know, so I intend to educate, and that goes into each one of my businesses, and that's my passion. So that's who Tiffany Taylor is.
Oh man, you got to get in this group. She got all kind of money coming in. I teach you how to do.
Well, should I say I got money everywhere?
She walk in one room. There's money flowing through that room, and walk in the next room, and more money coming through. She did say she moved to the south side. Okay, Mel, bro, what's up, man? What's going on with you, man?
Yeah, so businesses. Who am I as a business owner? I always save my best business for last, but I've been an entrepreneur ever since. My first job out of college, I won't even mention the company, but I got fired from it. And that was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because I hated the feeling of getting fired. Like, I'd never been fired from anything in my life, and to have somebody tell me that I can't work for them because of whatever reason, I was like, oh yeah, I'm out. Like this is the start of my entrepreneurial journey. So that was my day of disgust, as Jim Rohn often talks about, where I was just like, yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna figure out how to work for myself. And I started off in the consulting world. I later moved to the insurance industry and the network marketing industry. Built a very successful business in Legal Shield. I've been with them for 20 years now, so that's kind of cool to have that residual income. But the dope part was, as an entrepreneur and as somebody who had built something in the networking industry, it freed up my time to do some other things that I wanted to do too. So I started writing. I'm a 5-time Amazon bestselling author. I'm an actor now, as you mentioned earlier, a Screen Actors Guild member, been on several major network television shows and have movies on several different streaming platforms. Let me see what else. I have an entertainment business. I DJ. I've been DJing since the 90s, but I also do sound design for large conferences. I already mentioned that I'm a professional development and personal development speaker. I've spoken in front of crowds as large as 15,000 people. But the number one job, the number one thing that I've done for a lot of my life has been to be a parent, to be a father to my 2 amazing daughters that are, I can't even talk about them without getting choked up. So I'm not going to say too much about my babies, but they are amazing. They are making great contributions to society. One of them is an All-American athlete, and she's a Division I athlete right now. The other one is the head of wardrobe for a major network television show. And they are my reasons for being, and raising them has been the most gratifying thing that I've ever done in my entire life. So all the businesses and money and success aside, if I had to trade all of those in just to parent them, I would.
That is great. I love to see brothers, you know, I don't want to say step up, but it's important to just highlight the fact that I don't have any kids, but when I see brothers that do their thing and get the enjoyment from being with and around their children, it's very important. It's not only the child that needs the father in their life. For many fathers, if they take the time to be a part of their child's life, they'll understand that the father needs those children in their lives. So that's just really great to see that, and commend you, brother.
And the dope part about it, I'll just throw this little thing in, like me and their mom split when my youngest was like 5 years old. So, you know, to be able to co-parent with somebody in spite of the fact that we realized we were the right people in the wrong relationship, and still say, all right, even though romantically we were not designed to be together, but we still got these little people that depend on us. How are we going to do it? And, you know, since then she's married to an awesome guy. You know, my children's stepdad is probably one of the most amazing people that I've ever met. I really lucked up, but to be able to have a bonus parent even in there and get along with them. And yeah, I won't even say it's always been easy. We could do a whole nother show on co-parenting, but the business of co-parenting is a business as well. And I can say even since my relationship with these ladies here, with Tiffany being a parent that co-parents as well, and just the conversations we've had on co-parenting, that whole iron sharpens iron thing, like I've learned a lot from these women in business, but I've also learned a lot from Tiffany in the business of co-parenting and just conversation. So the rewards of being part of this team, there are certain areas of some of my businesses that have grown just because I got to sit in on these young ladies while they were teaching courses, and they were talking about things that maybe I knew or had a brief understanding of, but because it's their level of expertise, I was able to pick up on some stuff, and I was like, shoot, I mean, I know I'm one of the professors, but I'm gonna implement this too, you know, and it's just been dope. So yeah, that's me.
And I love women. I just genuinely love women. And I love, like April's nonprofits and things of that nature. What I'm realizing, and, we can talk about this off the show, but what I'm realizing, we do need to start some mentoring programs or something for these young men, because we got to get our brothers together, our younger brothers together. And, I love all the programs for women. That's great. I'm going to do a show about this too, though. But we do need to start getting some programs for young men too, because some of them are just out here and they're clueless and they have no direction. And I think the young brothers, especially if they're going to get into a relationship with women, it'll help if young brothers get some kind of mentorship as well, so that they can have prosperous business and personal relationships because they got themselves together. So we'll talk about that. Andrea, who are you?
Who am I? Wow, that's a loaded question. Okay. So I am an innovator. I'm an ideator, according to one of my clients. And I looked that up because I needed to know if it was a real word first. And I was like, okay, I don't know if this is a real word, but she kept saying, you're such a great ideator. And so I was like, yeah, I am an ideator. I'm also an advocate. I'm an ambassador. I am my clients' biggest cheerleaders. When I'm in the room and they are not in the room, their voice is in the room. They are being heard in the room. They are being advocated for in the room, and they're being connected in the room. Because of my propensity to connect people in a very profitable way, I started using the moniker Andrea is the plug, and immediately it caught on. People were like, that's what you do. Yeah, you plug people. I also realized that some people don't know what that means. Some people don't know what the plug means. And so I came up with an acronym for it because, like April, I like acronyms as well. And so I use my relationships to powerfully leverage unique generators for people. And so that's what the plug stands for, PLUG. Coach Mel likes that. I won. Okay, great. Yeah. Good win for me.
I love them acronyms. I love it.
I would also just like to say that I am the baby of the business group, so to speak. I've had the least amount of experience compared to my superstar colleagues here. But what I've realized with that is prior to me becoming an entrepreneur, I was in corporate America for a rather long time. I was told to go to school and get a good job, and that's what I did. I went away to school, Dillard University in New Orleans. Hurricane Katrina was my first experience with a real crisis of a large magnitude. And when I came back home, I just thought that I was supposed to get a really good job. I ended up being in some managerial positions with car rental companies in the transportation industry, working with the Department of Transportation, working with the city of Chicago. And even in that experience, I realized that I was always managing people who were older than me. I was always around people that were older than me. And this went even back to as a child. I was always around my grandmother and her friends and gleaning from them. And so as I listen to my colleagues here who are still very young and have so much energy, they have so much experience, and I'm listening and I'm like, okay, I'm in the right crowd. I'm in the right room because I want to be speaking to rooms full of people over 15,000 like Coach Mel. I'm definitely looking to be an advocate like Coach April. I actually dropped out of law school to start my business. And so I have about a year and a half to finish. And I do intend to go back because I do believe it will help me to further empower my clients. And I definitely want to be financially free and money secure like Coach Tiffany. And so I'm definitely in the right room. And I think that our clients are also in the right room by connecting with us for. And so that's who I am in a nutshell. I am a mom of an amazing 10-year-old. I think that being a mother of one child, a single mother of one child, has been my most challenging experience, but it's also been my most rewarding experience. I always like to tell people when we're doing the intake that they need to have a philanthropic give back. What is their cause that they're connected to? And I think in business, we need to be motivated by more than just money, because at times when it gets really, really difficult, the money won't be sufficient enough to motivate you. And so having a a legacy that I'm working very diligently to preserve and to build. It helps me to stay focused and motivated when times get hard in entrepreneurship, as it always will. There'll always be challenges in business, but having the right mindset and having money security and having the right team and having robust marketing, all of that will help you get past the rough spots.
That is great. I think a lot of people don't realize how smart you can be at a young age. I was 25, 6, 7. I forgot when I started my TV show. I had a TV show on a broadcast network in my 20s. So, just because you're younger doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. A couple of these young ladies said that they started their businesses right out of high school. I've been hustling. Hell, when I was in high school, I was selling candy. I've been a business person. Literally, I had this little bag, this little blue bag. I'll never forget it. Wasn't supposed to have no bags in classes. And I ran around and I had this little blue bag and I had candy in the bag. And before lunchtime, people get hungry. And I was making my little 50 cent, when it was 50 cent, I was making my little 50 cent off of the candy in the class. So I was hustling, I wasn't no drug dealer, but I was hustling, I was hustling candy. I was slanging candy. Like sophomore year of high school, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's important that people realize that just because age, success has no age. There are a lot of millionaires that are young. There are a lot of millionaires that did not go to college, because I believe that college teaches you to get a job. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to college. If that's what you want, that's fine. And I don't think we're saying that if you have a career or if you're working for someone, we're not going to do the Dame Dash thing. If you're working for someone or working in someone else's business, that's fine. But it's also important to have your own business as well. Absolutely. And you guys are not saying quit your job.
No.
You're saying
we're not saying
add your job, add your business to your job if that's what you want. And then hopefully after you go through these courses, your business will be making more than your job. And then you might have a decision to make then. But for now, it's okay to keep your job, but learn how to be an entrepreneur or add more success to your business while you're at the job. Yeah,
we have a mixture of both.
Absolutely.
Some of our students are full-time entrepreneurs already, and we're helping them get to the next level. As a matter of fact, out of our inaugural class, I think only maybe 2 of them still had jobs. Out of our inaugural class, 2 or maybe 3 still work regular jobs, but the overwhelming majority of them were full-time entrepreneurs. So we have something for everybody, for the people that are doing the side hustle thing and trying to get their business off the ground or get their business to the next level, or eventually want to be full-time entrepreneurs. We definitely have something for them, but we also have something for the people that might feel they may be called to a particular area. Some people want to be teachers. They want to be pastors. They want to be whatever it is that they do in the world at their job. And we don't want to take them away from that. We just want to help them build an additional revenue stream. And what we do, as a matter of fact, our big promise is we help small to mid-sized businesses powerfully shift their mindset, master their money, leverage their teams, and stand out in the marketplace. That's really what we do for businesses.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is there an acronym from that, or y'all just put that together as one without an acronym?
No acronym for that one. No acronym for that one.
Okay.
And I think that people I think people get caught up in the whole notion of, I got to quit my job to go make $1 million. For me, when I quit my job, I've never been fired. When I quit my job, it was about peace. It was about autonomy. It was about power. It was about passion. I got passed over for a promotion and I was done. I was absolutely done in that moment. And I took 6 months to plan. But for me, it was about, similar to Mel. He said he never wanted to be fired, didn't like that feeling. I didn't like that feeling of someone who was in a higher position than me saying that someone else was better than me. And when I knew that wasn't the case. And so I just wanted the peace of being on my own. I could care less if I made less on my own than I did working for someone else. I just wanted to be free. So for me, when I'm encouraging entrepreneurs or encouraging people to become entrepreneurs, for me, it's about chasing your passion. Something makes your heart sing other than punching that clock. And so why not spend some time chasing whatever makes you feel like that? And the other thing is, it's about being a servant leader. You have something that you're good at, some talent that the world needs. No matter what it is, somebody's waiting for you to share it. So if you're not doing that because you're at a job and you're doing data entry or you're doing customer service and you absolutely hate getting up every morning and you call it the 9-to-5 soul suck, then it's the impetus is on you to do something different. And that something different doesn't have to be full time, but we're not meant to live the same day. This isn't Groundhog Day. We're not meant to live the same day over and over and over for 70 years and then call it a day. We are meant to be creative individuals who are pursuing our passions, who are chasing our visions every single day to feel fulfilled and to fulfill another human.
And by the way, Tiffany probably has no idea what movie reference you just said, because anytime we talk about a movie or a television show reference, she has no clue what we're talking about.
There's always some shade. There's always some shade. But despite the shade, I'm going to add that to be realistic, I mean, COVID had people really reevaluating their lives. You know, if you did not reevaluate your life during COVID, I don't know if you were stuck under a rock or your life must just be fantastic. But, even if you lost your job or did not lose your job or did not lose your income, you were still reevaluating your life. And so if you did take that opportunity to reevaluate and make a decision on if you are doing your passion, now would be that time. And again, that's how the Quad Coaches came about. Like April said, or like Mel, I was never fired from a job, but I was laid off from my job. I worked full time as I was doing, my business as part time. And I had the same thing. I'm going to work this job and eventually I'm going to quit and do my business as full time. And, God gave me a blessing in disguise and laid me off work. And that was probably the most traumatic time because I absolutely had no idea what I was going to do. I was laid off in a matter of, I was given notice within a matter of 30 days. And at that time I was divorced with 2 kids and, that was my only income at the time. And I was freaking out because I didn't know what I was going to do, so it was either sink or swim. And if you have ever had to be in that position where someone else make a decision on your livelihood, that's when I made the decision that I'm going to take away the possibility of anyone ever being able to decide my livelihood again. And from this point forward, if I mess up, it's on myself.
Yeah.
It's on you. I like that. We're going to take another quick break, but we will be back with more from the Quad Coaches. It's King B's Raw Fusion. Previously on Raw Fusion.
If you're having lots of sex, who has time to argue?
See, there it goes. It's coming out.
It is. I mean, if you're having good sex often, what are we arguing about? What are we going to argue about?
Maybe to argue to have make-up sex?
If that's what floats your boat, you know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. Make it work.
Don't miss a minute of King B's Raw Fusion. Make sure you subscribe for free to King B's Raw Fusion podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Raw Fusion.
All right, so 2 things. Now, if you're not in the group, go and you're on Facebook, go to How to Fire Your Boss, and that's an acronym as well. You want to tell them what that is, or?
The F is for Find Your Passion, and that is Mel's topic, mindset. And then I is for Invest in Yourself, and that is Tiffany's domain. And then I have R, which stands for research. And then Andrea has Evolve Your Brand. And when she gets them on the right track with being visible, because like she likes to say, you cannot do a business in silence.
Bingo. So How to Fire Your Boss After Party, get in that group. Now, what's even more important is you want to be a part of these courses where they're going to go through teaching you how to improve your business. And then you have one-on-one access to the coaches as well, which is really, really important. Tell them how they can get into these courses.
Well, you can go to www.thequadcoaches.com. You can also find us on Facebook in the group, How to Fire Your Boss. And we'd love to have you in our Facebook community, as well as in our Business Not As Usual course. So I heard my fellow coaches say that Mel's only been fired once, Tiffany's only been laid off, and April has never been fired because she quit. And I thought about my own journey. Now, I've been fired before more than one time, more than 2 times. I have quit. I have been fired. I have been laid off. I have been.
I knew it.
Fine.
I knew it. That's why we got to herd these cats.
Go find somewhere else to work. So from McDonald's, my first job, to my last part-time job before I took the full jump to entrepreneurship, I've learned a lot of transferable skills from those experiences. What I will say is that I think this is a very good example of it. I try to give real life examples of my experiences so that people can relate to them. I actually worked for one of the biggest and longest going productions here in Chicago at the McCormick Place. And that was my first opportunity to work for a Black woman in business. And she gave me a very important jewel. At the time, I was doing a multi-level marketing company, and really knew I had something in me to where I could boss up a little more, but didn't know how to do that being fresh out of college. And while I was doing this multi-level marketing company, she just pulled me to the side and said, you know what? You're giving this job that I gave you a lot, but I know you're giving some of your skill set to another thing that you're pursuing. And she said, I want to know if it came to you making a decision to go to something for this job or something for that endeavor, what decision would you make? In my mind, I knew that I would make the decision to go to the endeavor that I believed was serving me more so as a future business owner, which was the MLM. But I knew I had to tell her that I would choose to go to the endeavor that was connected to her job because she was paying me to do that. And so I told her, I said, honestly, I want to be a boss like you. So I want to invest in my stuff, but I also want to serve the role that I have here too. And she said, that's a great answer. She said that you're actually on the road to becoming the business owner that I know you can become. And so I think that we have to gather our transferable skills and look at how we can best position ourselves, because the thing that I constantly thought about, no matter how much these companies were giving me, I got a company car that included gas and insurance. I was making, I guess, about $35 an hour. And at my age, in my mid 20s, that was pretty good. All of my people said, you're winning. You have a company car and you make, 30 something an hour. But even though I was grateful for that opportunity, I knew that there was more. And I would always ask myself, how do I acquire real wealth? And so all the people who were making 30 and up an hour, they were, let me see how to say that the correct way. They were tied to that job in a way that required them to work 60 to 70 hours a week, that left them little time for the things they enjoyed, that left them little time for their family or to pursue any independent opportunities on their own. And so I knew that I wanted a high salary, but I didn't want that job to consume me and not give me enough in exchange for my labor. And so I knew that the real way to acquire wealth was for me to have something that I built on my own.
And you're making more money now. There you go. Bingo. All right. Get yourself into that group. It's very important. They did a 5-day free courses, which was interesting because I won an iPad mini. They were giving away stuff every day. I didn't win anything, right? So I'm in this group every single day. People might think it's a hookup, but it wasn't a hookup. I was in that group every single day. I didn't win nothing. And then the last day I was there and I ended up winning the iPad mini. The crazy part about that is that because of that, I hadn't started a whole nother business. That's what being around hustlers is like. So I was fooling around.
We want our commission,
okay,
bro.
Let me see what this.
We want our commission.
This is your commission right
I was
here.
just thinking of tax write-offs.
This is your commission right here. I'm fooling around. I'm like, okay, so I took a picture of my that I had, and I'm doing it. They have this thing called Procreate on there. I'm new to the whole iPad thing. I've been a staunch advocate for Androids for my entire cell phone career.
To the,
And
the
so,
dark side.
oh Lord, yeah. So that I started playing around with this thing, and I'm drawing, and you get to draw, paint, whatever, boo boo. And so I said, yeah, that's pretty good. So I put it up in the group. Guess what? People now are commissioning me to do the same for them. So bingo, that's great. So being around these people, you're getting around other entrepreneurs that can partake of your services as well as you may be able to partake of theirs. So not only are you getting coached, but you are networking at the same time. I just think it's really worth it to be a part of it. I wanted you guys to get a chance to meet these 4 talented entrepreneurs. Yeah, they're brothers and sisters, but it's not just for any particular color. Anybody can come in the group. Anybody can come. Well, that's about business. Can come into the group. Anybody can be a part of the courses. So it's all inclusive. You're just learning from us, and that's great. Well, I'm not in it really, but I feel like I am.
To mention something just really quick, one of my most influential mentors of my life, business mentors, was a white man, an older white man from Oklahoma. I had never been on a private jet until I did some events and did some business ventures with him. And one of my most successful students or mentees has been a white guy out of Wisconsin. So, business has no racial, well, let me not say business has no racial barriers, because that would be a lie in and of itself. To a certain degree or extent, we have been, as people of color, kept from some things or have a harder time in some instances. But when it comes to getting information, I don't care if you're polka dot. You know what I mean? Like, if you have something that I can learn from you, I want to learn it regardless of color, because my favorite color is green. And that's what I want, the money. So if you want the money, you can come get it from us. Well, not the money, but the knowledge from us. We're not going to give you the money, but we'll give you the knowledge.
And you're going to make the money from the knowledge. And knowledge is important.
So I'll throw this out. So for the course, we did some market research. And so I interviewed 50 people. And, they all came to us from Facebook posts, et cetera. And what surprised me initially, like when I interviewed the first 25, 28, and I mentioned that to the coaches, is that initially we were concerned. Okay, you got 4 Black coaches. You're only going to attract Black prospects. But actually half of the people that I interviewed were not Black. They were Indian, they were Puerto Rican, they were Mexican, they were white, they were any other nationality that you can think of, and every type of profession you could think of. I had attorneys, I had chefs, I had, all different kinds of people who wanted more information, whose businesses were stuck, especially because COVID caught so many people off guard. And they were just looking to advance. They could care less what color we were. They were more interested in our expertise. And so I was just going to add that anybody who is on the fence about the course or just wants more information about what our 6-week intensive course covers, it includes coaching, it includes the community that we mentioned, that the best way to get that information is to book a call. And so once you join the group, I'll put up a link for how you can book a call. It's an interview, basically just for you to tell us where you are and where you're trying to go. And then we'll decide if it's a good fit or not. So I call it the makeover. It's a boss up makeover. So if you're ready to boss up your business, you're ready to go to the next level, you're ready to, make less mistakes, like Mel says, and have some mentors, then that is the best way to go about it, to go ahead and book that call. So I'll put that link in the group, but first you got to join the group in order to get access.
In that group is How to Fire Your Boss After Party. That's on Facebook. Make sure you get in there. You can also go to the quadcoaches.com and get directly in to the courses. Go ahead, book your call, get it together. Because especially at this time, you want to take advantage of what's going on. Everybody's talking about how bad COVID is, but I've made more money since COVID sitting on my ass than I have before, because I was running around and going here and there. when they told quarantine, okay, I'm a little bit different. So I had to find something to do, opened up an online store, started this podcast, voiceover work, which I can do from the house. And it's crazy. They got this thing, they pat you in. It's just like you're at the studio. And now this little art thingy I'm doing now. So you can do it. Just because the world is going crazy doesn't mean you have to go crazy. And you can be at home making more money than you probably did when you were running all over the place. Mm-hmm. So take advantage of these courses and these 4 wonderful people who are going to help you enhance your business or get you started in business. And we'll all see you in the winner's circle. I want to thank each one of you because I know you're busy with your own businesses and with the Quad Coaches, the Quad Squad. That's what I'm calling it now.
Quad Squad. That's what I've been calling us. That's what I address my people as.
There you go. But I really appreciate you guys taking the time, coming on the show and talking about what you're doing. Check them out. How to Fire Your Boss After Party on Facebook and quadcoaches.com. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Much appreciated.
Thank you. This was great.
It's time to talk some shit with King B on the King B's Raw Fusion podcast. Now, you know I wasn't going to get out of here without talking a little bit of shit. It's time. Whatever's been holding you back in trying to get your business off the ground or taking it to the next level, it is time. A great time right now to bounce back stronger and harder than ever. Don't let anyone take your dream away from you. If you feel in your heart that you can do it, then find the resources you need in order to get it done. That's what's important. Stop procrastinating. If you need some help, don't feel bad for reaching out and getting some help. We all need some help sometimes, even me. I'm King B, and this has been King B's Raw Fusion. I'll let you next time. Raw Fusion.